Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I know usually we talk about a lot of bookish things on this channel, however, another love of mine is interior design. My interiors Pinterest board is out of control. So today, hopefully, this entire video will be our kitchen renovation. If you're new here, my name is Gabrielle and I do bookish and lifestyle content here on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, and I'm also an aspiring author. This is my kitchen and I don't mean to be blunt, but she's boring. We moved into this house 6 years ago and had every intention of moving before this time. However, we've been very unlucky in the housing market and we've come to terms that we might end up having to stay here for a little bit longer. When we first moved in, this kitchen was basically brand new from the owners previous. And literally all we've done is paint the walls and put our own appliances in. And although there is nothing wrong with this kitchen, I have always wanted to put my stamp on it. Just so you know, we're not doing an entire renovation. The kitchen is staying in situ. Going to just be sprucing it up a bit. We're going to do a little bit of an update and refresh. One of the primary things that we're doing is going to be repainting and wallpapering. Myself and wallpaper have a very love-hate relationship. However, I think I have found wallpaper that I do like. And we're also going to be warming the place up a bit with a more beige, greyish colour. So let me show you about the kitchen and tell you what bits we're going to update, and as this video progresses we should complete the entire renovation. First things first, we will not be changing anything about the base of the kitchen. The worktops, the cupboards, the floor are all staying the same. We looked at changing the worktops initially, but that was going to take over £1,000, and we also looked at getting a new flooring, but again you're talking thousands and thousands of pounds. So we've decided to work with what we've got and build the room around the base. So we have greyish laminate worktops and we have white cupboard doors. And you might be able to see that we've already switched up something over here just to test it, and that is the cupboard handles. I think cupboard handles are a really easy way to update a kitchen and make it look just a little bit more modern. Not that this kitchen isn't modern in the first place, but I thought the black handles might look better with what we have planned for the kitchen. Currently we have these like thick silver, almost like a dull silver handle, and I've never been the biggest fan of them, and I've always wanted to change them to black handles. So we have chose these handles. So as you can see, these are our original handles, so they're just this thick, dull silver colour. And these are the new handles that we've got, so they're more black, sleek. They've got this cool little edging on them. You can actually see the difference between the two. These ones are a lot more sleek and I think they'll make for a better looking handle in general and also easier to use. You can already see that the clearance of your hand is a lot easier with these slimmer handles, so I'm really excited to update all of these. And as you can see here, we have really big open walls, but they're pretty boring looking. We do have this clock that has literally not worked in years and we just have it up there just to fill a space. But the plan is to wallpaper this entire section. So already with the wallpaper and the changing of the handles, I think we've already got quite a good update on the kitchen. Besides from this section, the rest of the kitchen will be painted in one colour. Moving it over here, this is our dining room, which is just off of the main kitchen. And again, you can see we've got quite big open walls here. We will be keeping the chairs and the table because I love this table. This is actually my mum's old dining table, and obviously when I lived in my mum's house, this was our dining table, and when she said she was going to change it and get rid of it, I snapped it up. And these are black chairs, which will not be changing because we're going to have the black accents still throughout. When we moved in, the style of houses and everything was very much the grey walls, the black and white, some of the black accents. And I don't regret doing that because generally I do actually love a lot of the black accents throughout the house. But what I do regret is not having foresight to see that the house would be quite cold. Particularly the kitchen because everything's grey and white. And our dining table previous to this dining table was white, so this was the first stage in adding a bit of warmth into the house. So our plan for this room is to, you might be able to see some of the lines on the wall already, but we will be panelling the bottom half of this room on both sides. and round the door area. And this will be painted the colour that the rest of the kitchen will be painted in. And then from the panelling upwards, we will be doing the wallpaper that we are going to put in the kitchen. For this door area, we will be putting up a curtain pole and some drapes, just to give the room a little bit more texture. The lighting might be a wee bit dodgy in here just because of the backlight, but on this wall we have a radiator, so we will be putting a radiator cover in here so that that gets covered up, and then we'll be just doing the panelling on either side of the radiator cover. We will be doing panelling that is the dado and I don't know how to say it, but the kind of ornate squares. I don't know the proper terms for it. And again, the wallpaper from here upwards. This runner that could really use an iron, we got from Italy last year when we went, and this colour is the base of what we're going to use throughout the room. So I don't know if you can see, you might be able to see easier there, but the colour is a kind of light beigey grey beige, and this is going to serve as the inspiration for the colour for the rest of the room. Just coming back over here, so we have a little bit more room to chat, but we picked up quite a few colour books at B&Q when we went, and we have decided that we're going to use a similar colour to this one from Farrow & Ball. This one is called Skimming Stone, and I think it matches the table runner perfectly. I don't think we'll be getting Farrow & Ball paint, just because it's very pricey. I know Farrow & Ball paint is very good. However, we're trying to do something on the budget, so we'll probably get it mixed up by Valspar. One thing that we didn't consider when we first painted the kitchen was to get wipeable paint, and that has caused a lot of issues for us so far. As you can see, you might be able to see this mark on the wall here. That was actually caused by our air fryer that used to sit over here. And it simply will not come off because the paint does not wipe. And that is the same for anything else that has splashed onto the walls over the last few years, and it's just really frustrating. So that is something that we will definitely be getting this time. In terms of the wallpaper, I have selected something that is a bit more textural and subtle rather than a pattern, and that is this one here. You can get this a few places, but we picked this up at B&Q. I initially wanted to go for more of a tree foresty vibe, more black and white or black and grey trees for a bit of interest. However, a lot of the tree wallpaper, a lot of the tree was going to get cut off with the fact that we're only doing like half a full wall. So I decided to go for something else naturey, and I went for clouds. There is this cloud wallpaper that's like really popular and you see it everywhere. I don't know what the brand is, but I think it's from John Lewis. Can't be entirely sure. However, I do like the vibe of this wallpaper, but it is very dark, so that is why I decided to find another one that is a bit lighter, a bit more subtle. I also think it's good because you can also still hang pictures up on top of this and it won't look stupid. Okay, I hope that gives you a little insight into what we're trying to achieve with the kitchen in our little renovation and what our plans are. The rest of this video is going to be a more vlog style, and then I will come back with the final result at the end. We had a few packages come in. Obviously the kitchen handles have now been delivered, which is excellent, but we're now still waiting for the radiator cover and the wallpaper. We will be going on a B&Q trip to pick up the wood for the panelling, the paint, and any other extra tools that we need to complete the dining room and do the wallpapering. So yeah, let's get DIYing. The wallpaper is officially in. We have 4 rolls. I was going to do an unboxing, however the box was a little bit burst and I was very worried that the wallpaper was damaged, but everything is fine. In case you forgot, this is the wallpaper that we are going for. It is very subtle, you can hardly see the pattern, but I think it will make a good effect once it's all together. So today we're actually going to B&Q to get our materials for panelling and painting. So I thought I would take you along with me. room nice and empty, ready for some decorating. Excited! So this is the progress that we made yesterday on day 1. So I did all the white edges so that we can put the wallpaper up. And then Andrew completed all of the panelling on this side and a bit of panelling on this side. We need to wait for the radiator cover to come so that we can do the panels on either side so it looks more built in. So the jobs for today are to wood fill all the panelling. Andrew's now going to have to paint the ceilings because it's just slightly, you can kind of see like the bright white next to the white that was already there. We're just going to paint the ceiling. And we need to polyfill any holes that we're going to fill in and caulk, and then we're going to start painting. So we'll see how much we get done today. I'm also going to start changing all of the handles on the kitchen cabinets. Welcome back. Yes, I am outfit repeating, ignore. However, this is now day 3 and I thought I would do a little update on what we got up to yesterday on day 2 because I don't think I've been managing to film that much. Every time I set the camera up somewhere, we need to move it, it's been a chaos of energy in this kitchen to try and get things done. So I thought I would tell you what we got up to yesterday. I feel like we maybe didn't make as much progress as I was hoping yesterday, but anyway, we did make progress in the end. As you can see, the ceilings are now painted all fresh white. It actually, although we weren't planning to do it, it actually has made the room feel so much fresher. When we first moved in, I think we mostly did the main rooms of the house, and I don't think we painted the ceilings in the kitchens. That was definitely in need of a refresh. We had to take some lights out of the ceiling. I also painted all of the skirting boards on the bottom, so they are nice and fresh now. The panelling is still in the same situation, but I did paint a few patches of the beige that we're going for, which you can kind of see here. I didn't want to use too much paint. I've also done it in different areas of the room. It looks a lot more neutral on camera, which I'm hoping is right. I think because I have painted it on quite a cool toned colour, it looks a lot more warm to me than what I was expecting, but it looks good on the camera. I've also painted a section here. I also changed all the handles, which you would have seen. So I think they look a lot sleeker. This is them here. They are looking so much more fresh and modern. I think they've made such a big difference. Also, ignore the mess that is everywhere because the house is literally a hovel. I feel like houses always end up being a riot when you're doing different things like this. This is the current state of my living room because of how much stuff that we had to take out. My dining table's literally in my living room. Okay, I think I have a little bit of explaining to do. As you can see, we are pretty far along in our renovation journey. Unfortunately, I've been unwell for the majority of the week and I've been pretty much out of it. I have been helping when I felt up to it. A lot of the painting I did, but honestly, I looked like death, so I just didn't bring the camera out. But Andrew has cracked on with a lot of things in the meantime. Honestly, I feel like he should change career. So let me catch you up on a few things that have been done this week and what is still left to do. So Andrew completed all of the wallpapering on this section of the kitchen last night. It was very tricky for him. I actually had to leave the room sometimes because he was getting so frustrated with it. We have a lot of sockets, obviously, because it's a kitchen. A lot of sockets on the walls that we had to wallpaper around, and obviously we had to wallpaper around the cooker hood and where the hob is, which was very tricky. And because the wall is half height, because wallpaper is set up for like a full length of a wall, we were really struggling to get the pattern to match. But I think it's turned out amazing. I think it's really lifted the space and made it feel more two-dimensional, and obviously we were going for like less boring. Andrew still thinks that we need to put something on this wall, so we might consider that, but at the moment I'm happy and I want to sit with it for a bit. I've put some of our appliances back in already, so I've put the coffee machine back in and the kettle and obviously our tea and coffee pots, which I'm going to get new ones of them, I think. I've done a second coat of paint on this area of the kitchen and around this arch, which I'll show you in a moment. And I've done 2 coats on the panelling on one side. We had to wait for our radiator cover to come in, so let's jump over here. We got this radiator cover from Dunelm and we've kind of modified it. It did come with legs and everything, but we've modified it so that it looks more as if it's been built into the room. So it now slots into our skirting board and it'll hang on the wall. It's currently not hanging on the wall because obviously I need to finish painting around here. But we needed the radiator cover in first because we had to slightly modify the panelling on either side just to know the sizes that we were working with. So the panels on this side of the room are slightly slimmer than the panelling on the other side of the room, but it's very slight, like you wouldn't notice, especially because this is here. We actually ended up going for a black radiator cover just because, although we're kind of stepping away from the black, white, grey look, I still really love black accent details, and our dining chairs are black and the new handles that have been fitted are all black, so I still want to keep a lot of that because I don't want to change absolutely everything. So adding the black on this unit is keeping within that theme. Also, if you can hear Daphne tapping about, she's having a little wander while I'm chatting with you. So the plan of action today, all I have to do, thank God, this is the last piece of painting that I need to do. I need to finish painting the panels that we just finished sealing yesterday and do 2 coats on them and do a second coat behind the radiator. So I'm going to do that now. I'm really excited to get everything back into the room and see how it looks. I'm sorry that I was MIA for some of the renovation, but we're going to see the finished look hopefully this weekend. I'm so excited. Okay, so that is a full first coat. It's looking good. Happy with it. And I'm going to set a timer for 2 hours and then I'm going to come back and do the final coat. The dado rail and the top has already got a final coat on it because I needed that to dry for us to wallpaper tonight. So the only thing remaining is just a final coat on the rest of the area and then we'll be all finished. Honestly, I don't really like painting, however, it is quite satisfying when it's all finished and you can really see the results. And I'm also very excited to get the unit back on the wall with the wall painted behind it. I think that's going to look so good. Set timer for 2 hours.
Alright, 2 hours. Starting now.
Okay, this is now currently where we are. Andrew's now done this whole side and we've just stopped at the door. He's having a little break before we take on the difficult area of around the door. And yeah, then we'll be moving on to this side, which should hopefully be relatively easy. We have decided to maybe get a mirror for this area. Don't know when that'll be. We usually have a picture up here, which is this one here, but we might put that up in the meantime, but then maybe get a mirror and change that. Soon we have found one that we like. I will put a picture of it here. It's from William Wood and it's just kind of that kind of squiggly pattern mirror, which I think will look really good with the clouds because it's kind of almost cloud shape. I don't know if I caught you up on the fact that we got this all built in. So we've kind of made it floating. It did come with legs, but we've decided to kind of make it look more of like a built-in style. So it's now like floating on the wall, which looks really nice. We now have drawers, which is great for some extra storage. The heat still comes out of it pretty well. Maybe not as well as obviously the bare radiator, but I think this just makes it look a lot more classy and a bit more put together. So yeah, I'm really happy with it so far. I think it's going to look so bougie. And welcome back to the kitchen. It is basically done. There is just a few finishing touches that we're not going to get to in this video, and I really wanted to post it. I'm very happy with how she looks like right now, and I'll definitely be happier showing the kitchen in videos a bit more. We've been eating our dinner in here in the dining area every night, which I'll show you in a second, so it's been a success. I love the colour, I love how it's turned out, I really love the wallpaper, and I honestly think the handles on the doors have made such a big difference to how the kitchen looks. I am now going to put in some before and afters so that you can get the full effect. It has been a very subtle change, just changing the paint and wallpapering to add like a little bit of interest. But it just shows you how much you can update somewhere with just the littlest of tweaks. The dining room is absolutely my favourite part. We have put so much effort into there and it absolutely looks stunning. It has turned out so well. Don't know how much you can see me right now, but I know we did discuss changing this for a mirror, but the mirror that we were looking at was over £100, so we're going to hold off on that and save up and see if we can get that in the future. And we're probably going to move this picture over to the other wall on the other side of the kitchen, but for now I think this picture looks really great. I also think our table has turned out so nice in this area. I wasn't sure because it was out for so long, and then when we put it back in I was like, yep, love it. I really love the shape of this table and the way it looks with the chairs. And I don't know why, but it literally feels like it's so much bigger in here. I don't know if it's because we've took the bar cart out and took our plant out that was over there. I really thought it was going to feel smaller because we decided to add in this radiator cover. But honestly, I think it's a triumph. Who knew that a radiator cover could make such a big difference in the room? The radiator that's in this room was a bit of an older radiator, and we did discuss changing the radiator, but that was going to be so much work to change a radiator, so I think the radiator cover has turned out really well. And also I think our orchid is really enjoying this room because ever since we've redecorated, there's been so many more orchid flowers on the plant, so she's loving life. And it also means we now have drawers here, which we never had before. I don't really know what I'm going to put in them, but definitely fun to have some extra storage. It literally makes me think that we should have done something like this years ago. But as I said, when we moved in, the trend was white and grey and black details. And I love the black details still, but I'm so glad that we've added a little bit of warmth and it's made it a bit more interesting. And the paneling has turned out so good. I'm just overall so happy with it. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.